I'm here today with my May book haul. For once, my haul is actually going to be during the month that I actually bought the books, which is a feat all on its own. Usually I order my books and then the couriers are like, hey, so haha, by the way. And naturally my books are late. My joy at this cannot be described in mere mortal words. But they're out, so let's get started. The first book on my list is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I've heard so many great things about the series. I will admit that when I ordered it, I was kind of hoping for the other cover, the one with the mask, but this one is just as beautiful. I don't really know too much about the story except the fact that angels are involved, so that should be interesting. It is also rumored to be very weird, which is really great because I love weird and odd things. There's usually nothing more entertaining. This one will probably go on my TBR for June. I'm looking at reading the Game of Thrones series this month, so that would be a nice break, I think. The next book I have is The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I am so happy that I finally have this. It kind of makes up for the fact that I cannot get my hands on A Court of Thorns and Roses, but only slightly. I really want to get that book. The Assassin's Blade is a prequel to the Throne of Glass series. It pretty much follows a young assassin who finds himself in the middle of a brewing war, magic, and all sorts of dangerous things. There's apparently a bunch of short stories that basically deals with Selena's past, and I'm very keen to read all of that. I'm always fascinated by characters and I always want to know more about them. There's just never enough in the books we get. I always love figuring out why they are the way they are. It'll also keep me occupied until Queen of Shadows finally comes out. The next 4 books I got were pretty much on a whim. I've never heard of any of the authors before or even seen the books, but they look pretty interesting on the bookshelves. The first one I have is The Forgotten by David Baldacci. This is another adult/crime book to add to my growing collection. It is, after all, my second favorite genre after fantasy. From what I can tell, the main character's aunt dies and the police rule it as an accident. When John, the main character, goes to investigate everything, he actually finds that the exact opposite is true. This leads him into the underbelly of the town that his aunt was living in. Apparently what he finds there is very, very shocking. I don't really know much else. I prefer going to these books not really knowing much because the slightest thing can ruin the entire plot. I am definitely looking forward to getting to this because I haven't really read much thriller or thought-provoking books lately. Either way, I really hope this one lives up to my expectations. The next book on my list is Winterbirth by Brian Ruckley. This is book 1 of the Goddess World series and it looks so good. The cover itself is pretty awesome. It states, "It is a world of ice, it is a world of blood. It is a godless world." That to me sounds very enticing. All I really know is that it's set in ancient times and war is ravaging the land. I think it follows several different people and what they can gain in this war, but there is a threat of some shadow that's apparently descending over the world. This shadow will awaken a man that will hold a terrible power. Apparently his legacy will be written in blood, so I'm guessing this book is going to be pretty brutal. It's not young adult, but there are some hints of fantasy strewn within the world, so I'm looking forward to getting to it soon. Next up I have The Salem Witch Society by K.N. Shields. First of all, the fact that it's about witches kind of sold me. Secondly, it involves Salem, which pretty much had me picking it up off the shelf without even glancing at the back cover. From what I can tell, a young woman is found murdered and her body is arranged in the death pose of a witch. So obviously someone in the story has a fascination with the witch trials. Naturally, there is also a dazzling man that comes to the rescue and he's the only one who can keep evil at bay. I'm not really clear as to whether or not this is set in present day or in the past, but either way it looks like a good read. The last book I have is Blood and Bone by Ian C. Esselmont. When I first picked this up, I kind of hoped that it was the first book in the series, but as it turns out it's actually book 5. This is very frustrating. They really should make these things more clear because I couldn't find any hint of it on the cover. I even looked inside the book and it wouldn't tell me. From what I can tell though, it's an epic fantasy which is pretty dark. It has witch queens and all manners of creatures and wars. I'm not entirely clear on the storyline since it's not the first book, the summary is a little bit vague, so I think I'll have to actually look for the first book in the series now. Hopefully I'll get to that soon, otherwise this one's pretty much just going to sit on my shelf, which is a real shame. Has anyone actually read the series? If so, is it any good? And that brings the lovely end to my book haul. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like and subscribe if you did, and comment down below. What did you guys buy this month? Until next time, bye!